back here again. Um, okay, so the status is that there is crossplay between Xbox and PC, but it's only via the Xbox thing. So if I wanted it, I would need to buy the entire thing through Xbox again to install it, to play it with my friend. I think just the fact that we couldn't do it as is took the sail out of the wind out of the sails. I'll go on this. Just I'm making a mini guide for this. I'm trying something dishes. The fuck is making that? Of course, always pick up all the stuff you can, ammo-wise. Check every crook and nanny. You don't know where you might find a medkit. A medkit, a flare, something. Oh boy. I am also doing a bit of an experiment, seeing which... I know I have a lot more ammo for the Carl Gustav than the RPG-7. I sorted these out, but I'm trying to pick them up both and then seeing which one will... when I'll get enough ammo to... I should say defend using it. They put in the... Which gun did I take ammo away from? Oh yeah, this one. Just because it's a good reload. I still love that they put a star on the fucking rocket. We're not gonna go with any ammo We're not gonna go with any already gotten ammo. Oh, it's been a while since I played. Okay. Oh yeah, we all have those. I thought this has gotten the main story to Behind the Curtain. It hasn't gotten anything after the final showdown was released. But the most important thing you can get for this is to run around, find a fuckload, or find the collectibles that are blueprints, boss blueprints. These two are found in specific points, and then machine blueprints. Technically, wait, there's also Soviet machine blueprints. Technically, you don't need anything or the absolute lowest level to have a vague idea of how to fight the enemies. But having them in general can also help you aim. And it will give you a better idea of it, given the fact that you can Oh wait, there was also something you needed. In skills, one of the best things is spawning intel. At least level 1, and I would suggest it as the absolute first skill you get. Well, that's something. So I'm just gonna take this and see how far I can get. At least if I can get a... Yeah, this was the one where I did it, right? Where I got up and got the suppressed one. Specifically, hollow points and soft points are very good for component damage, which is what you're gonna focus on a lot, specifically early on. Hey, we just pick up a pair of rockets. Don't mind that. This one will always give an absolute assload of ammo. I'm gonna make my way up to the church, and then I'm gonna get a... I think it's the lowest grade of hunting rifle, or, well, it's not low grade, because I haven't maxed out. But, I don't remember what it's called. We'll see when I'm up there. Shouldn't be any enemies around here. And here we get into it. Check you. There we have one. Those that are highlighted in bright are the components. Components deal extra damage and can disable an ability if shut off. Or, in the case of the fuel tank, it will detonate, dealing damage to both it and stuff around it. Ideally, this is how you want to take them out. Remember, first aid kits are your friends. I don't think I'm gonna pilfer anything. Yeah. Remember, in all of this, you're a mix between a snake and a praying mantis. You want to strike fast, and you want to take your enemies apart. It's not really a case of trying to have a fair fight. Always stay on the move, but always stay on the move. A quirk of the AI is that they will actively start to surround you. And you're not gonna let that happen. At least I hope so. We are gonna go with... No, that's the Ilstrusa. I think that's how you say it anyway. Yeah. Mouse or hunting rifle. Don't think I have ammo for it. No. This is also where our little venture with the handgun is gonna go. I could at least break it down. Now to see what ammo we can find. There we are. binoculars have a better zoom than... Binoculars have a better zoom than any other gun. Well, apparently it's kind of comparable. Which is weird. Regardless. You are your own spotter. Don't be afraid to highlight targets if need be. I certainly don't think you have anything to prove. Silencing your weapon isn't for the sake of the enemy you're shooting at, it's for the sake of the enemies around it. You'll still need to reposition if you kill an enemy, or at least get a place where you can stay low enough that they don't immediately see you. I'll go to the fort so I can better elaborate what I mean. I still need some more ammo. How the hell am I managing this? Damn. Okay then. Right now would be a good time to go back and look for ammo. Or maybe just elaborate on another point. If you're finding yourself with an excess of ammo, you can also break it down into other ammo. Sorry, I'm just trying to find words. You can break it down into different ammo types, but at a construction disadvantage. I will elaborate. We need some or 24-3 soft point. We need 4 explosives and 2 lead for that. We have an excess of hollow point, or 32 ACP hollow point. If we break down 40, actually for each we break down we get 2 explosives and 1 lead. That means we have to break down 2 sets of these to get 1 set of these. That is what I mean by you break down at a disadvantage. Well, this would be 5 portions you can make of that. Also, if it's something, it always gives the default. Say that snipers, or at least hunting rifles, always use soft points, and that's what you'll find. Full Metal Jacket will require steel. Um, Also, ACP 32 will be hollow point, the same with 44, rather than soft point. Still functions the same, dealing more damage to components than anything else. But if you get something like 762, you'll default to getting Full Metal Jacket, where armor piercing will be the one requiring steel. The default, quote unquote, will still require lead. The only exception to this will be the 50 BMG, where you'll find armor piercing rather than Full Metal Jacket. I believe this is likely to balance it out. The only weapon, well, this is all finding. The only weapon type where you don't get, where the default doesn't have lead in them, are explosives, like the rocket launchers and the grenade launchers. Even though you will only find this with the Carl Gustav, I don't remember what it's called, but yeah, it's the M48. M49, it's the real world version, that's the M48. The RPG-7 and are both 40mm grenade launchers are DLC weapons. So if you're playing without anything, you don't need to worry about that. Also, you can use these. I haven't gotten a lot of use out of them because I'm just used to seeing it through the lens of the Tech Vision, which I find to be the best for it. I'm gonna show how the infrared. Well, the night vision isn't gonna be useful. The object penetration, which is the other one, isn't gonna have much function unless you're actually using a weapon that can penetrate, and that is a very, very small amount. There is all the armor piercing, and that's a very small amount of weapons that actually do that, either by default or if you upgrade it. Remember that bullets have travel time, even if it seems very, very minor. You can't always rely on them hitting the mark. There is also some bullet drop, but it's way too far away for you to almost being able to hit the enemy. These are ideal for showing it off. Hunters will almost always be shut down if you break the fuel cell component. The fuel cell component will explode and deal damage to them. All other components or major components will disable the function. You cannot disable the melee attack of any enemy. The only enemy where you cannot break the gun is the Firebirds, but that's further into the game. Let's see if the hunter's home. Oh, am I gonna surf this? Yep, looks like I have to. Yeah, I'm stuck between a cliff and hot plates. Remember, just press back if you get into a situation like that. Ideally, wait for your enemies to stand still. But that's also because I'm not the greatest at aiming. You won't find this many different ammo types starting out because you won't have that many weapons. think, yeah, that's the hunter. You can see all the numbers from mine, but that's because I found the schematic. Otherwise, it will just show up as like a blob. But it's better for you to learn like this. Or it's easier for me to elaborate what I mean when I show it like this. Okay. Where the hell did you go? As you can see, it has armor plating, which is highlighted in blue to protect some areas. But the gun, and when we get behind it, the fuel cell, are highlighted as components. Destroying the gun will disable it, of course, but destroying the fuel cell will deal damage to the entire thing, which can also weaken the gun. Destroying most components will put down the enemy relatively fast. It isn't always that you have to destroy every component, but taking out the fuel tank will deal more damage to the enemy than taking out something like the gun. Again, it is because it doesn't really disable any functions. At least I believe so. Most of what I say is partial speculation. With the new ammo system they've implemented, or with the ammo system, I can't really call it new, it's post-mortem, but with the ammo system that is currently in play, you will still be pretty well stocked on your main weapons. Most weapons don't really get enough of the damage debuff from lower grades to where it will be noticeable. I will give it a fair shake, but I would give it a fairer shake, but this is just a short video to elaborate a point. If you shoot mindlessly into an enemy while you use something like, well, actually this caliber from this weapon specifically, if you just shoot center mass, you're not going to get a lot out of it. You can technically still do headshots for more damage due to the fact that the eye is a visual component, but that will also just disable any visual components or visual modules it might have, like the one that I have mounted on the gun. That also eliminates the chance of you getting it, as it usually has to be of a rather high quality for it to actually drop. It isn't a guarantee, but still. I'm trying to remember how I got up there. Maybe I can't Bethesda my way up there, I'm just not as dedicated to it. I'm gonna try to take out this position. I'm gonna try to take out this position, and then I will go to the harvester and the tank of this area and try to take them out. Well, I will definitely do it, but I'll explain more about how I do it in the moment, at least if I'm able to. I'm not a video editor, and that's why I have to stream this. I don't really have somewhere to store the files, nor do I feel confident in my ability to edit to where this would make any sense. As you approach, you crouch, make sure to make yourself small. A low profile is harder to spot. Yes, you might notice the potato mode. Scanning for enemies. I'm not sure that I will always find anything. I think they might be clustered in the front. You are also able to mark enemies, but that's not as much of a thing if you're hunting alone. Calling out positions can be very beneficial to allies, but again, that's called communication. Mayhaps they're not here. Did they get completely disabled or have they scattered? Well, we still have two very strong positions that we could go to. You are way too low level. The positions are here and here. We'll go here first. Even though I said it doesn't change a ton, there's not a lot of damage change in it with something like the rifles. I'm still not gonna be using these because they're upgraded. And my shotgun, so I'll see if I can find it. Maybe I didn't upgrade it. Here we are. And just for making it more authentic, and remember, you're able to run in this game after you run out of stamina, simply because you have to. Running with your pockets full of stamina is a luxury. I'm an idiot. Trying to educate people, or trying to make something somewhat educational, and then just calling myself a moron. I mean, it's fair and it's valid, but still. Dum. Okay, so we have 2 and 3 that we can start using. Oh. I know that I have some abilities, maybe I could disable them, because the faster reload is still a very, very valuable thing. These are a bit more of a hassle to deal with. Now, hold on. If we take a look at them. This one, it doesn't always show up, but you can see the fuel component. Is that little thing on the back. You can also destroy. There they are. You can destroy the thrusters of the engines to take it out instantly. It is a very, very small shot. But this is also the only enemy that can't shoot back. And it's usually taken down in 2 shots. Remember, this is also because the components take more damage from the soft point. Sometimes you also get those. I'm not entirely sure on how that works, but generally just aim dead center, the horns of aim for the body of it, aim for the sirens, or aim for the thrusters. That's the best advice I can give. Okay. Also remember that cars can always blow up, and an explosion from even a prototype runner will still be enough to blow up a car. Use that for collateral attacks, as the explosion will still damage stuff around it, just not you. I hope they are around here, because enemies will also travel. Sometimes there will also be ones that just show up once. We have some military class runners. They can also see that there are more armor panels. That is a trend. The prototypes will never have any serious armor on them. And are generally easier to take out with only soft point weaponry. Soft point or hollow point. They are less perceptive. There we have a hunter. This one has an arm or shoulder cannon. You can easily see what kind of enemy you're dealing with based on the weapons they have. The only enemy I believe doesn't follow these rules are the hunters. Or not the hunters, the runners. But that is also because the shoulder-mounted gun is so... The mounted gun on them is so small. If you can get behind them, the smartest move is always to go for the fuel tank first. Better to have a clean shot than a maybe shot. I can't promise it will be that easy to take out enemies. Again, this is a 5 grade and you might have access. Well, you will have access to a 2 grade, a T2 of these. This is a T5. Don't be afraid to run around. Don't be afraid to explore places or to take out extra missions. Specifically the fort we went to, the castle, is one of the first proper ways. Okay. It's one of the first proper ways you can get a fully automatic weapon. That is a T1, G3 or AG4. Remember, dealing with rivals is a bit different, as they are more or less just normal enemies that has gotten a lot more durability. You're not gonna take them out stealthily. You will have a proper fight on your hands. Let's see if enemies will also respawn, so be aware of that. But they will have their usual walking patterns. Which, if you follow the series or have followed the series, I have put a very big doubt on that. Relay beacons seem to just pop out sometimes. You can see that made a world of difference. The fuel tanks are effectively the heads of the headshot, though the only enemies that will go down in single headshots, quote unquote, are prototype runners. I feel like giving myself a bit of a challenge, just to prove a point. So, with this shotgun and this rifle, I believe I will try to take a bit of a tougher nut. Depending on how far you've gotten into this game, you might not know these. The tanks are the biggest enemies you can find, at least. Yeah. You can be heard 100 meters away, simply through their sounds and their stomping. Their melee attack is that they will stomp on you. As you can see, it also says that it's hot, but you can't always trust that. Let's get a bit closer so I can show off the proper components. They can spawn in several different configurations. This one I can always say is a a bit of an annoying one. That one is a mortar, will always spawn over there. That one is a autocannon, I think will always spawn over there. They're not the most perceptive. The most perceptive will likely be the Seekers, the little floaty goat and floaty fuckers. But these are definitely living up to their name. They are meant to be bruises that just come in and wreck your day, taking focus away from everything else. I don't think I can get into a proper point where I can show it off. Showing it off can be a little fucky at the best of times. You can see their necks are defended, or the legs, the armored knee. Behind them is the knee joint. That is a component. Again, armor component. They have a tick, this one. That's a tick pack, the autocannon, and the mortar. I think that, yep, that's a mortar. I kind of just named it that. Up here are also armor pieces but components. In the front, there's an armor piece but a components. Again, you are unable to face this and then hit the fuel tank, but you're also unable to take the fuel tank down right away. This is where the philosophy of fighting like a mantis comes in. You need to break off what threatens you the most and then slowly chip it down. Well, not slowly. Component optics armor head. Usually components will be hidden, and stuff like this, it will be hidden behind armor. Unless it is some of those that have the main functions, like the tick pack behind here. Tick storage. The autocannon, the mortar. Again, the fuel is pretty much shielded by the entire thing. Yes, it is a bit messy, but it is a very, 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 very useful thing. It especially was when it was bugged and you could have it on any weapon that had a scope. I understand why they couldn't keep that in Damn, do I miss it. But remember, the enemy is also bound by their size. Hunters and runners would be able to get in here and attack me. A tank and a harvester cannot. So you need to be aware of that and use that to your advantage. Their pathing is still an option for you. Sometimes their vision is purely based on movement. I think one of the least perceptive enemies is the harvester. I'm gonna try to take out a harvester too, but that will be a lot different. You might think I would use this because it deals the most damage to these, but the damage spread of the shotgun is better. I believe that has a partial optic penetrating visual module. Oh fuck. EP got activated. Fuse boxes will do that. Also, if you want to know if you hit a component or not, most of the time you can go by the sparks. If there's loot, you get one. It's a yellow